up my mind that I'm going to follow you everywhere you go until I find your God. When they arrive in Bethlehem, I'm just about to start closing this, the whole city begins to speak and say, can this be Naomi? That means she had gone through things that she even lost her identity. Can this really be Naomi? And Naomi says, don't call me Naomi, which means precious and joyous. Call me Mara. I introduced to you a woman coming back by the name of Naomi Mara. Her surname is changed. Say, don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. Mara means bitterness. I've gone through a lot that you don't have. I know I'm back to the territory of Jehovah, but don't call me Naomi. There's nothing precious about me. There's nothing joyful about me. Call me Mara. I'm okay with Mara. Then Ruth is also received with a suspicion. This stranger, this Moabite woman, what has she come here to do? Then Naomi relates her story, and that's where my message begins. Ruth wants a seed from the family of Naomi. I'm going to leave that laptop now so I can close now and get out of here. Lionel. When she says, your people shall be my people, she means that if at all I'm going to get married, I must be married by somebody in your family. Because I want this God. Just please wait for me. I'm getting somewhere. And Ruth, out of her own self, realizes that it is a season of harvest here. But I have arrived late. They have already harvested. But there is what they call gleaning, which had gleaners. There were people that were experts at gleaning, because in their harvest they had to make sure that no grain is left. So after the harvesters have gone, the gleaners came with bags and went on their knees and picked every grain. They gleaned the place up. Ruth arrives at the gleaning time. Have you ever felt that your harvest is gone? Have you ever felt that your season is past? But are you willing to hang in there and say, wait, I'm still going to stay on my knees, because it seemed like it's over, but it's not over yet. I don't know who I'm talking to. Have you ever gone through a divorce until you feel like, I think I'm finished? I thought this man was everything. It seems like it's over, but it's not over yet. If you can stay there and say, I'm going to glean anything I can find in that. Now then Ruth comes out of the house of her own accord to join the gleaners. The gleaners are so surprised because women never used to glean. But she comes in and begins to crawl with them. And they allow her to glean. Now listen, Boaz then appears and says, who's this damsel? And the gleaners say, we don't understand her. She's been gleaning since morning. If you go back to the originals, gleaning began at 4 a.m. Boaz appears at 2 in the afternoon. She's been on her knees following the gleaners. In that gleaning, she was not permitted to take that seed harvest and put in her own pocket. So she had to crawl after the gleaners and put the seed in their own. I told you, you're gonna hit something. Put their seed in their own bags. So they say to Boaz, she has been here since morning. Even when we had the halfway house break, she didn't come. She just stood by the house briefly and came back to glean. Then Boaz begins to speak to Ruth. Now, it happens that there was another man that was supposed to redeem her if she had to be redeemed before Boaz came. But Naomi insisted that the focus is Boaz. The eyes have to be on the master. Because if she did not get Boaz, then her covenant and her vow will be invalid. So something happened that this other man that was allowed to redeem before Boaz, it didn't work out. And she found favor with Boaz. I'm going to get there. Somebody's catching me. She says, why do I have so much favor with you? She said, please come. Whenever you're thirsty, drink from what the men have fetched and sit by me and glean. Now there's something I want to show you. There are biblical images of Ruth in people like Tamar, in people like the daughters of Lot. There are biblical images in people that came in to get seed. Tamar had to prostitute with the father-in-law. The daughters of Lot had to sleep with their father to sustain a generation. But Ruth came wanting something that was gonna remain forever. So even when she got a chance to be on his bed, she slept by his feet and never messed it. He missed me. She came to the threshold, and when I'm gonna close it, I'm done. I sense I'm done. When Boaz spoke, Boaz said that I have been told about you, how you treated your mother-in-law, how you left your family, you kissed your daddy and your mama bye-bye to follow a woman you never knew where she was going, and to go to a place you never knew a people. You have been following after something. And when I was praying today, God began to deal with me, and God says, son, don't you close that message until you talk to the people. There are harvests that we try to manipulate. There are other harvests that we arrive at because we have been seeking and chasing after Jehovah. Ruth had an inspiration in her that there is something about this woman, and I want a seed from her line. Little did she know that she was going to get into the Messiah's lineage, but she knew I need a seed from this woman. So she followed the woman with all her heart, and she was so sensitive to everything. And God said to me, say, son, tell my people that it's going to be the year of divine harvest, but it's for people that don't follow things. It's for people that follow God. Now I feel like closing already. There's a difference between the provision and the provider. There's a difference between the healing and the healer. There's a difference between the deliverance and the deliverer. There's a difference between the kingdom and the king. We are living in a generation when God is going to raise men and women that are not after healing. They want the healer. They are not after the deliverance. They want the deliverer. They don't need your miracle. They need the miracle worker, because they know that if they can get the miracle worker, then they will always have the miracle. If they can get the healer, they will always have the healing. If they can get the deliverer, they will always have the deliverance. And I feel like preaching already. I see Ruth pushing her way and saying, it's paining on my knees, but I'm still gonna push until I get what I want. And I'm gonna get it in purity. I'm gonna get it in holiness until I arrive. Sit down a minute, I need to close. I came from my house to talk to somebody that is not ready to win a lotto. I came from my house to talk to somebody that doesn't need lay hands on me and give me a miracle. I came for people that are saying, excuse me, your God shall be my God. If God has done it for you, then God can do it for me. I want to pray like you pray. I want to study the word like you study the word until I get... Please sit down. Why should I wait for you to be a millionaire? Then I beg you. Can you hear Ruth? He says, your God shall be. She doesn't say is already. Shall be. That means whatever it has to take, I'm going to do it. But at the end of the day, your God shall be my God. I want to know how you pray. How do you study your Bible, Pastor Ndeda? Instead of me running to you for special prayer, I want your God to be my God, so that my harvest is continuous. I'm done. Let me close this like this. And then Boaz, can I preach and close it? Boaz turns to the gleaners and says, excuse me, I sense that this woman could easily be special. So what I need you to do is something you've never done before. I know your assignment is to wear your goggles and make sure you don't miss any grain of wheat. But I need you to take your hand and put it into the bag. And when the woman is coming, I need you to scoop a handful and leave that handful of purpose behind you, so that she walks into her harvest. Now then I stayed on my knees. I said, Lord, talk to me. I'm listening to you. And God said, look at Ruth. She is gleaning, but I have given her a handful of purpose. That means God has purposed to give you a harvest that can never be revoked. No, you didn't get me. It means somewhere, I feel like preaching, somewhere in your destiny there is a harvest. Somewhere in your anointing there is a harvest. Somewhere in your family there is a harvest. Somewhere in your business there is a harvest. Somewhere in your house there is a harvest. God has anointed you and God has loaded you. But I was praying 10 days ago. Please get close to the keyboard. I'm going to close this. And I heard the Lord say, son, all I need you to do, don't manipulate my people. Don't frustrate my people. Don't be a big boy, big boss. I need you to get humble and serve me. Follow after me. Chase me. Move behind me. And there is a place called harvest when I am going to put my hand and scoop a harvest for you. There is a place where I'm going to take my hand. Now listen to how I close it. I'm talking about God's handful. Jehovah's handful. El Shaddai's. I'm not talking about Standard Bank here. No, you miss me. I'm not talking about FNB. I'm talking about the owner of silver and gold. No, you missed me. No, you didn't catch me. God's handful of purpose. And I don't know who I came for, but I came for somebody. And I came to tell you, be not weary in well-doing. Because if you faint not, you will reap in due season. And I came to tell somebody that your harvest time is already here. You've been praying. You've been sowing your seeds. You've been crying. You've been fasting. You've been gleaning. But God says, lift up your head, because my hand is full with the blessing that I'm going to throw behind me. That means you can only get it if you are following me. Don't follow the blessing. Follow me, and I will make you. I don't care how long you've been broke, but God's handful will make a difference. I don't care what your family has made you. Then I stayed in the night, the whole night yesterday, and I began to look closely, I found out that Naomi had sold this piece of land to go to Bethlehem. But when Ruth came into her life, her blessing changed the status of the entire family, because Boaz was able to redeem the same land, because when they got a son called Obed, that son was treated as the son of Naomi. So Boaz had to pay for the same land, and she became a landlord again, or a landlady again, whatever she had lost. But Naomi said, I am empty and I've got nothing before, but now she says, I am okay, I'm satisfied. I came here to talk to you and tell you, there's some of you sitting here, you are just about to get the handful of God that will change your family and change your destiny and change your community. Somebody say yeah. Say yeah. Say yeah. It means you've been crying. I feel like preaching. Lord, give me strength to do this. You've been crying, but your crying is coming to an end. You've been suffering, but your suffering is coming to an end. You've been poor, but your poverty is going now. You are waving bye-bye to every poverty and every frustration, because it's just your time. Your time of harvest has already come. And if Jehovah El Shaddai is on your side, he shall supply all your needs according to his riches in Canada. That devil is a liar. I need you to look at your house and tell your house, I'm paying you off in 2 years, because the hand of God is blessing my life. Somebody say yes. God's hand of purpose means, oh, I don't know, did you catch it? Boaz says to the gleaners, don't ask me questions. It is against the rule of gleaning to leave anything behind, but I need you to scoop a handful and drop it. And that's not just handful, it's a handful of purpose. It means you never went through what you went through for nothing. It means you paid the price. It means you have sacrificed already. But now it's just your time. I don't know who I came for, but I came to tell you that if the devil was smart, he should have killed you last year. But now it's too late, because the hand of God is already holding your blessing. It's too late now. That cancer should have killed you last year, but if you made it to now, I see healing